Terraria is a game I kept getting recommended countless times by friends, but over the 14 years this game has been out, I haven't played it. It wasn't because I hated it, I just thought it looked like a ripoff of Minecraft. So I want to make my first playthrough a little bit special by playing on Master Mode, the hardest mode on Terraria. So with that, let's begin. So we get day one started off by talking to this guy named Jack, and I'm guessing Jack is the tutorial NPC because he just tells us the basics like how to use our pickaxe and axe. And after chopping down a couple trees, we go back to Jack, and now he says a couple useful tips like to make a workbench. So after clearing this dirt pile to make the ground flatter, we talk back with Jack, and he says to build a shelter, and that's what we start working on. So after a couple minutes, we finish up our house, and actually this wasn't that bad for my first house. This game's actually getting pretty fun. So at this point, we're already like 20 minutes into the game, and the tutorial guy's already dead. So I just decided to make some wooden armor because it's not the best, but hey, it gives me some defense. So after that, we go to a nearby cave, and this is where we run into a red slime, which dealt 35 damage. And so after falling into this water, we try to find a way out, but the slime has got to your defense, and it doesn't let us leave. So yeah, we got our first death of the game, and so after respawning, we made our way back to the cave and back to where we died, and that's where I started using these bombs because it makes digging a lot easier. But then this happened. Oh shit. So yeah, I didn't know Terraria could jump scare me like that, but here we are. So I made my way to the right of the map, and I want you guys to guess how much damage this zombie did to me. 95 damage. So after all that, I still got killed by the zombie, so I had to make my way back, and that's when I came across this tree, and it had a chest, and inside it had a quick radar, and this actually allows us to see if enemies are close, which I think this is actually pretty useful for right now. And after going down the tree, we came across another chest, which this time it contained a precise aglet. I then found some lead ore, and under it was a secret room which had a chest, and inside the chest was a leaf and living wood one, two tools that aren't useful for me right now. After leaving, I made my way back to my house, and that's when I came across these eyeball monsters that follow me all the way through my house and tried to attack me. Getting back to my house, I just decided to bunker down for the night, and while inside my house, I placed a chair, a table, and also a chest to store my items. When daylight finally came, I made a furnace, and this actually allows me to make ores into bars. When I was using my chest, a old man named Gilbert came to my house, and after talking to him, I actually noticed he sells items. But at this point, I didn't have money to buy anything, so I just went back to the tree, and that's when we found another chest, and that's when we get our first weapon, the boomerang. We head into the desert, and this is where I find this bug monster poking out of the ground, and this actually makes some pretty good practice for the boomerang. But besides that, there wasn't much in the desert, so I just decided to head back into the tree. So making my way to the bottom of the tree, there was a gold chest, but around it were so many traps. Like, I don't even know. So after disarming the traps, I opened the chest, and hey, at least we got an achievement. So after going back and opening the chest, we get the godly mace. So this mace came with some really good buffs like damage, critical strike, and knockback. A pretty cool feature about this mace is that when you shoot and click it, the ball drops. This can be used if you're getting chased by like zombies. And also it would have been helpful here, but whatever. When we went back to the cave, there was this giant worm that tried to kill me, but at this point it wasn't a problem. But this boulder almost got me. Like, come on guys, it's gonna take a lot more than that to kill me. So after totally not dying, we cautiously made our way down and disarmed the trap that I totally didn't die to. So after that, we found some more ore and died to these bats. And let me tell you, they come up a lot. Like, a lot. So when we go back, we run into this guy named Rattles Magoo. I thought he was an enemy at first, but he actually turns out he's pretty cool. So after killing this ghost, we find our first gold ore and head back out. When I got back home, I decided to clean up my inventory, and because I was playing around Christmas time, enemies were dropping presents, and in which I got a candy cane sword, but it wasn't better than the godly mace. After that, I started going to the left side of the map, which we haven't discovered yet, and we come across two biomes, a desert and a jungle. So we find these two chests, and sadly they don't have anything exciting inside, so we just make our way down to the cave and find a cart rail. After finding nothing, we tried going back, but we got killed by an antlion, and again to the zombie. So at this point, it was getting pretty late for me, but I wanted to do one more thing before I called off day one. I wanted to expand my house a little bit. You know, nothing crazy, just want to make it a little more spacious, so it'd be easier for the next day to, you know, work around it. So I made a hammer to get rid of those walls that were poking out, and after a couple minutes, the house was complete. But yeah, like I said, it was getting pretty late, so I just called it a night. So we entered day 2 by making our way to the desert, and after demolishing this vulture, after destroying this vulture, we made our way to the jungle where we died. So we make our way back to the jungle where we run into a snatcher, this weird looking plant thing that tries to grab us, and shortly after we die again. Hey, I told you the bat would come back, but at least we're making some pretty good map progression so far. So going back to the jungle, we, you guessed it, died again to a bat. Okay, at this point it's getting old. So after deciding that, hey, I don't want my ass getting handed to countless times, I made my way to the cave. And after getting some gold, we used more of our bombs, like a lot of them. And after finding some more lead ore, we keep using more bombs, but I think it was a sign because then this happened. So while back at home, we make a heavy workbench and finally upgrade our helmet to tin. And this is where we learn that we can use fallen stars to make mana crystals, which increase our max mana. So going back to the cave, we find this building where we get a flare gun. Sounds cool, right? Don't lie to yourself. But after I open my inventory, that's where I find this little box called Heartbreaker. This would actually serve as the game's main quest line. So we make our way back down to the cave, and after we find some more ore, we find this new blue biome. And after blowing up the zombie, we got the Arcane Campus, which just shows the direction where we are going when we were traveling either left or right, not up or down. And after going down and thinking I was safe, I got dunked on again. So making our way back down, we got this achievement called
Hey, listen!
which is a pretty cool reference to The Legend of Zelda. So after following the fairy to the heart, that's where we get the Heartbreaker achievement and our first heart crystal of the playthrough. But after falling down, I got pushed into the pit of despair. So here's a quick update of the map, and after that we find our next main quest, Eyes on You, which mentions something called the Eye of Cthulhu. We make our way back to the jungle, and I thought we would have a different outcome, but sadly I was wrong. So I go back to the cave and down to the blue biome, which is actually a mushroom biome, but we die again. And on our way to the jungle, this little pop-up shows up, and it shows us that we killed 50 zombies, which is pretty cool. Making our way back into the jungle, I find another heart crystal, and also this giant hornet, which kills me, and a bat that kills me again. Going back into the mushroom biome, we get another mace and a lot of gold. So we start digging down the tunnel, and eventually we find another cave system, which has another heart. And after using a hunter potion, which actually allows us to see if enemies are close, we keep pushing, eventually run into the most ugliest, disgusting, downright sickening creature there is. Spiders. Now, I hate spiders. I don't care what you guys say. And it only makes it worse that I fell on top of one. but at least we unlocked another achievement. But after mining some more ore, we encounter another fairy. We follow it, and we get, because we got pushed in lava by a bat. So after an amazing day, I just decided to call it for a night. So we start off day 3 by cleaning up my inventory, and after that you can see that I'm starting to plan out on making a tunnel that will connect to the deepest part of the cave that I've discovered so far, because I'm starting to get annoyed of dying. But after digging for a bit, we find this chest which contains Arcane Guide to Plant Fiber Cordage, which would actually help us with the process of making this tunnel functional. So after getting some good progress going, I die. But then I actually went back to the blue mushroom biome, and we tried making some progress by going up, and that's when we find this big chunk of gold. And right here you can see the tunnel's progress so far. After that, I find out that I had a heart crystal, and in terrible timing I drank a spelunking potion, but then a salamander killed me. So as soon as I got into the tunnel, a event started, the blood moon. On the surface we have our first encounter with a blood zombie and the Ripdul, but besides that, nothing surprising happened. So I just waited until morning, and after surviving the blood moon, we unlocked another achievement called Bloodbath. So after making our way back into the tunnel, we come across this purple block, but we get interrupted by another event. This time it's slime falling from the sky, and it's literally slime falling from the sky. And after a bit we get a little notification telling us that we killed 50 slimes. And then shortly after killing a certain amount of slimes, we run into our first boss of the game, King Slime. And yeah, it didn't go so well. So after the event stopped, I made my way back to those glowing purple blocks and found out that I can't actually mine them with my pickaxe. So we did some more exploring, and that's when I found this structure with a chest which had a magic mirror which did the same job as recall potions. And after we went down to this hole, and that's when we got, and after running into this giant bug, I thought I could take it down, and yeah. So after cleaning up my inventory, I placed a couple of decorations. I used the magic conch and tweaked with my settings a little bit more of the zoom setting, and I called it a night. Hey guys, I just want to say thank you so much for making it this far into the video. There's only one more day left, and we'll see how that goes. But with that, I just want to say please consider liking and subscribing. It helps me a lot since I'm new to this whole YouTube thing. But with that, we are on to day 4. And so here we are, day 4, and we get to start off by going to the shore again. But this time we get teleported to the opposite side of the map, and shortly after we ran into this guy named Izzy, which he mentioned something called Fishotron, and that it's a bonefish that's possessed by evil spirits, the same evil spirits that possess the old man at the dungeon, whatever that means. But remember this because it'll come back later. So we keep pushing forward, and after getting a chest that had some things, we see the dungeon that Izzy was talking about, and we also see the old man that is supposedly possessed by evil spirits. We go inside the dungeon, and that's where we encounter the dungeon guardian, and he scared the shit out of me. So making our way back to the shore, we run into the corruption, which is the evil biome, and the eater of souls. So after trying to mine our way down, we get stopped by this indestructible block, so we had to head back up, but that's when it gets swarmed by like 3 eater of souls. So after crafting a gold helmet, we make our way back to the right side of the map, and I heard this waterfall, and I'm not gonna lie, I was picturing something majestic looking, but we got this instead. But while in the cave, we get another blood moon, and after almost dying, I go back to the house and get jumped twice. So after finding nothing in the caves, I just go back to the tunnel to continue its progression. Remember that purple block from before? It turns out that I can actually mine it now with a gold pickaxe, And here's a quick update on the map. So after getting crushed by a giant Shelly, we continue the descent and we find this detonator, and it's pretty cool because it blows up blocks around it. So we make our way to where we died, to that bug monster earlier, and it turns out that this thing is an egg, because when we hit it, a baby antlion comes out, and after killing it, we get killed. Like, what the hell is a rolling cactus? Anyways, making our way back down, we get some more demonite and find a golfer named William. He doesn't have the best equipment, but if you want a golf course, this is your guy. After leaving William behind and making our descent, we find some more demonite and another heart crystal, which this gets us to a max HP of 220. After some more exploring, we find this chest, which contained the suspicious looking eye, and this is the item we need to summon the Eye of Cthulhu, and we also got the Like a Boss achievement. Going back home, I realized I wanted to expand my house, but I also had another idea in mind. Why not try to have a platform to fight the Eye of Cthulhu as well? So that's exactly what I did. Pretty cool, I know. Oh, I don't know why I didn't include this, but I did craft a bow for more range in fights. And after some preparations, it was finally time to fight the Eye of Cthulhu. We get hit twice straight off the bat, which isn't the best, but as you can see, this guy only has like 2 attacks in his first phase. One is dashing at you, and the other is like sending little eyeballs at you from above. We get pushed off the platform, which was my biggest mistake because he got some pretty easy shots on me. We finally get on our platform, and we were doing some pretty good damage until he entered into his second phase, which whenever he does enter the second phase, he sends so many eyeballs at you, which really caught me off guard. And not long after this happens. No. I was devastated, so I just went back to digging my hole. But then a traveling merchant came by, and I really wanted to see what he had, but he didn't have anything good. But I did buy painting, and after placing it down, maybe I could get a refund. At this point, I was done with how the house looked, so I took down the walls and roof, and after chopping down some trees, I started to expand the back walls. After building the roof, we placed some vines so I could go up and down the floors, and after some time, the roof was done, and eventually the back walls were finished. I brightened up the room with some torches, and we separated the second floor with 3 rooms, using the far left room as my storage room. I used the middle room to place some banners because I noticed that they were giving me buffs to certain enemies. And after finishing up the storage room, I moved over to the right room, which I used the living room from day 1 to make a table and some chairs. I changed the door and finished up the room with a chandelier and a lamp, and then I go up to the merchant that came by and saw that he has something useful, a G, which was better than my chest piece and also gave me some pretty nice buffs. And so we go back to the tunnel, and you can see that when I sped it up here that we started making some good progress in here. And after running into some more gold ore and also another heart crystal, getting our HP to 240, and after finding another small cavern, we run into a gold chest which has another eye to summon the Eye of Cthulhu again, and also a menacing cloud in a bottle. Now, I already had a cloud in a bottle, but this one gave me damage buff, which was much needed. We get another heart crystal and check up on the progress, which again is going very nicely. And so, as you can see here, we finally connect the cave system on our right side to the tunnel. And so we take the minecart and find an underground desert biome. And after finding this pit and getting pushed into it, we get chased. We find this chest, which has another Eye of Cthulhu summoning item, and also a bat statue. After dying, I placed a campfire to get a health regen bonus when fighting the boss, but then I foolishly wasted the night by crafting and getting the platform ready. I say this because whenever I go back and summon the Eye of Cthulhu, this happened. So going back to the cave, we get another life crystal and find this building, and while looting, this guy with a wizard hat spawns in and he tries to shoot at me, but my mace deflects this guy's attacks, and when we get low, I pull an absolute pro move by placing a campfire, and then we apply pressure, and then eventually we kill him, and we get another achievement called There Are Some Who Call Him. I forgot when I got this, but we did get a weapon, the Savage Bat. It's a high damage but slow attack speed. I mean, really slow, just look. So pushing forward, we find some more demonite, and not one but 2 more heart crystals. And so after dying, we go back to the left side of the map and get some more demonite, and we find this super cool biome. I have no idea what it's called, but I mean, it looks cool. After some more exploring, we find a heart crystal and these traps, and after almost dying, we disarm all of the traps, and I mean, like, there were so many traps. But the payoff was huge because we got these boots called Hermes boots that make us go super fast. It's even in the description. While in the cave, we also get a extractinator gladiator leggings, which are much better than my current leggings, and a lot of ore. But sadly, it did come to an end whenever I fell into this spider hole and got cornered. And so after setting up some preparations, we give the Eye Cthulhu another go. I mean, we were off rolling. We were doing so much damage on him, and he did get some shots on us, but it was nothing crazy. Getting to phase 2, I was thinking, oh, we got this in the bag. I mean, those Hermes boots came in so clutch because the Eye Cthulhu couldn't catch up to us. And when I thought that I had him, it started turning to day, and he despawned. So I just got up to take my mind off this game. And so after passing some time, we gave another shot at the Eye of Cthulhu. So after the 4th time fighting this guy, I would have hoped that I would have gotten this in the bag, right? But anyways, you see us putting belt to ass on him, and I was determined to finally kill the Eye of Cthulhu. The agony and pain this boss has brought me, I couldn't just let it go. So we chip away at his health, and when he gets really low, he enters into this frenzy, and I have to admit, he got me a little worried. But finally, we end him, and we finally complete Eyes on You. We get some nice rewards, like this cute little eyeball pet, and our first expert weapon, the Shield of Cthulhu. you guys can see me in this clip trying to figure out on how to use it, but eventually we do, and look at this thing. It's so sick. And another cool thing is that when we kill a boss, we get these relics, which look really nice and I really like, and also a trophy. I didn't notice this, but we also get some new glasses which look cool. And so with the day ending soon, I want to do one more thing by using a gravitational potion, and using it literally flips the map and we go straight up to the sky, which felt really trippy at first, but we eventually got the hang of it. And so after a bit, we find this cloud that has a house and a chest inside, and after opening the chest, we get a keen Star Fury. And let me tell you, this weapon is sick. And after flipping in the air for a while longer, we find another cloud, and it has another house and chest, where we get another Star Fury. And upon landing at our last cloud, we get an Angry Horseshoe. And this item literally negates fall damage. That's insane. And so going back to the base, we find our next quest, Smashing Poppet, which we'll have to use either explosives or a hammer to destroy shadow orbs. But we'll worry about that in the next video. But with that, we are done with day 4. So yeah, that's going to do it for this video, guys. I can't wait to see what other things are to find. If you guys want to suggest anything or even recommend another game, please do by commenting down below. And so with that, I just want to say thank you guys so much for making it to the end. This was amazing, and it really does mean the world to me, guys. So yeah, I love y'all. Stay safe. Bye bye.